This is the J&R Sports Lounge. No scripts, no filters, just straight sports talk. Episode 3 starts right now. Welcome to episode 3 of the J&R Sports Lounge. I am your host, Joe Huzar. This is my co-host, Randy Curry. Today's topic, we'll be talking about the catching position, our top 10 catchers for the 2026 MLB season, among some other topics also. But first off, let's start off. What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm ready to do the catcher spot. Did my research. I think it's a little deeper this year, for sure. It's evolved a bit, like some of the other spots. But it's a deeper position with some names that are actually sleepers now. There's strength at the top for sure. It's a better thing to talk about than it has been in the past for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think catcher this year is definitely significantly deeper. I think there's a significant drop off after the first couple of picks, but we can talk about that here in a little bit. The first topic I really want to talk about, because we live in Charlotte and I'm wearing a Hornets hat, but I really want to talk about the Hornets. They are by far the hottest team in the NBA.
Crazy.
They have since January 1st. They have the best record in the NBA. The top 3 best 3-point shooters in the NBA are all Hornets: LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, and Con Knipple.
Wow,
they're fantastic. They're so much fun to watch. The only thing that sucks about living in Charlotte and being a Hornets fan is, first of all, that they suck for a long time.
Right.
But secondly, that they're hard to watch on TV because you have to subscribe to all these like crazy sports networks and pay all this extra money. They're never on local TV ever. You can't watch them on YouTube TV or Fubo or anywhere. Right. And it's very frustrating.
I've always thought that was a little funny. It's almost like to have your cake and eat it too from the people that deliver us the entertainment. Because don't we pay for like their stadiums and we help pay for things through taxes? I'm pretty sure it's the same here in Charlotte as it is in most places. I think some situations are different than others, but they ask for the community to support in that aspect of it. I feel like they shouldn't make it so difficult, not so difficult, but so much extra effort in order to just watch your own home team's games.
Yeah, I agree.
Feels a little bit unfair.
Yeah, have you gone to any games this year?
No, but I don't know if I told you this. I'm pretty sure I did. Maybe you forgot, but I actually got really good seats for me and my son to play the Sixers.
Oh, yeah.
Which is actually my favorite team.
The Sixers?
Yeah, my dad likes some weird teams, so I just followed him. And I didn't want to abandon them, at any point.
Yeah.
But it's the Sixers, it's the San Francisco Giants, and the New York Giants are my 3.
I hate all Philly sports. I don't know how we've been friends for almost 20 years. First of all, I didn't know that you like the Sixers. Otherwise, I don't think we would have been friends this long.
I haven't been too much into basketball, honestly.
Yeah.
With baseball, football, life, one of them just kind of fell off a little bit. I remember when we used to do this show before, our buddy Jimmy Strips, he was into the basketball aspect of things.
Yeah.
I really wanted to get back in then, and I still haven't even fully become a fan. But with the improvement of the Sixers, not so much last year, but before that, got more into it. And the Hornets, it's great. And now my son's older, so, I kind of want to have a team to rep.
I watched the beginning of the season, and they started off the season 4-14. I mean, they were fucking terrible. They were just a bad basketball team. Nobody was healthy. LaMelo's whole career, he's been injury prone the entire time. And this year, he's finally staying healthy, and the team is responding to it. Right. Brandon Miller is also significantly improved. He may be the most improved player in the league, in my opinion. I think he could win that award. When the Hornets drafted him, though, I was a big proponent of us drafting Scoot Henderson instead. He ended up going to Portland.
I remember that he was in that same draft.
Right, and I really wanted Scoot Henderson, and now I'm so happy that I was completely wrong and had the worst take on that, because Scoot Henderson is not living up to the hype that he was supposed to be at with the Blazers. And the Blazers, honestly, they haven't really hit on their last few draft picks in general. I know Damian Lillard went back there. They got Scoot Henderson. They drafted – I'm a big UConn fan. They drafted my boy Donovan Clingan from the UConn championship teams. And they're just not hitting. But the Hornets didn't pass up on Brandon Miller. They saw the potential. They saw the talent. And he looks absolutely fantastic. if he is not in the running for MOP this year, I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it took a few years. Is this his third year?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, it looks like everything's coming together, and you know, it's definitely good for the Hornets. They got a lot of good young players. I mean, I guess Melo's a little bit of a vet now.
Yeah,
right?
he's definitely a veteran. This is his sixth year, maybe, I think.
How old is he now?
He's like 24 or 25.
Yeah, I mean,
like he's
so
still
still,
super
I mean,
young.
it's a young squad. Definitely have a bright future, you know, for sure.
Yeah, they also in their starting lineup. So I was, Miles Bridges has been on this team for a while, and I'm a big Miles Bridges fan. I know that he has his off the court stuff and whatever. There was one time one of my buddies has season tickets, and so I sat in his seats one time. I think it was like 7th or 8th row from the floor, and I think before I went to that game, he ended up saying something like yelling something about Bridges and like the issues that he had off the court.
Okay.
And
Like
the lady sitting
a
behind
supportive thing or like a
no, it was like some
negative thing?
shit talking.
Okay.
And so the lady behind him taps him on the shoulder and is like, "That's my son." And he felt
No doubt.
so stupid, as he
Wow.
should, for yelling about somebody he knows nothing about.
Yeah.
And then he ended up apologizing, and now they actually like talk to each other on a regular basis. We went there at the games because now they know each other.
From the fan that was behind him?
Yeah, with the mom. That's Miles
Wow,
Bridges'
that's
mom.
crazy. And that's the only way in which they knew of each other at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. But I like Miles Bridges' game, and he's the forgotten guy in the entire team. He's been on the team for a long time. It seems like he's been on the team for 20 years. It seems like he was even there when like Kemba was there, even though he wasn't.
Right.
But he said something I thought that was really cool of him a couple of weeks ago, which is, I want to make sure that this team wins, and I want to be on a winner. I will do whatever it takes. Like, I don't need the shine. I don't
cool.
want to leave Charlotte. He's been in trade rumors for years now, and he's always told the front office, he said, "I don't want to get traded. I love playing here. You guys have supported me through all the shit that I've been through off the court, and I want to stay here. I want to win with you guys." And now he said he doesn't mind taking, like, his stats have suffered because LaMelo, Khan, and Brandon Miller have been shooting lights out, but Miles Bridges specifically said that he is cool with taking any role, no matter how little his statistics
Awesome.
are. He just wants to participate and be a part of a winning culture here in Charlotte, which I think is amazing.
I love that on many different levels. I love that it seems like he feels like he's indentured in some way, like he has a debt to Charlotte to redeem himself in some way. But also, I think that suits his game better, honestly. I think he's better as like a fourth guy down the line as far as like a go-to guy to score a bucket. Because he's a guy that can make his own points also. He can come out of nowhere. He's a guy that jumps out of the gym. And the one game that I went to here, he was awesome.
Yeah.
He was flying all over the place.
Yeah.
It was before all this stuff happened with him. But, he's much better as a role player than a guy that they're trying to get the ball to all the time.
All right, so look, and the Hornets are 32-31 right now. One game above 500, above 500 for the first time in I can't even remember how long at this point. So it's great for the city of Charlotte in general. Like I said, we do the show from here, so we have a little bit more insight and more vision into how well they're doing. And it's you can feel the buzz in the city. Like, Charlotte FC made the playoffs last season, the Panthers made the playoffs this year, and now the Hornets are in prime position to make the playoffs also. I know
Feels
that
good.
they're all, kind of lower tier playoff teams, but they're all playoff teams. And those are the three sports that we have here. And it's very exciting for the city of Charlotte to finally have a little bit of shine, a little bit of their moment in the sun. The Panthers gave the Rams a run for their money in that playoff game. I mean, we were right on the cusp. And I'm saying we because I went to the game. Even though I'm a Jets fan, my girlfriend is a huge Panthers fan. We have season tickets for the Panthers, and it was just that game was probably the best atmospheric Panthers game I've ever been to in my entire life.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so it's nice to see the city, kind of starting to rise up in professional sports, which is awesome.
Well, I knew that you were at that game, and I felt the energy through the TV. And I think, I don't know if I just spoke to Jack about it at that time. Like, we were thinking about, man, it must be awesome to be there just because you could feel that vibe.
Yeah.
Even though we weren't there at all. It was awesome.
I have friends in Connecticut that, from back home that I talk to on a regular basis. The two guys that used to do our other podcast a long time ago. Bakery the show, which is why we started the winner's circle before. But they were texting me during the game, and they were like, we can feel the energy through the TV
That's so
in
cool.
this
That's
game.
Charlotte.
And everybody before that game, everybody said the Panthers don't belong in the playoffs.
Right.
And they probably gave the Rams one of the best games of the entire season. So, speaking of football, I know that was a weird transition to go into this topic, but DJ Moore getting traded from the Bears to the Bills today. I thought that was a great move for Buffalo because they finally have a guy to replace Stephon Diggs, who left before last season. And last year, one of the things that they struggled with was trying to make Keon Coleman their number one receiver, which didn't really work out for them.
Issues from the start with that.
And I think it was great that there is that, like, now they have a legit number one. I think it's a little bit of a weird move for the Bears, though. You know, for having a quarterback that's developing.
Well, I think they see a lot in Luther Burden having kind of the same role. I think he's a better overall receiver, not just a gimmicky guy. I think they saw enough from him. My little take has to do with I feel like with Odunze still developing, Burden brand new, Odunze hasn't really asserted himself quite yet.
I like his potential.
I mean, he's got great potential, but Moore has had a chance to like really be that go-to guy. But he really didn't. He would be gone at times, you know. So honestly, I kind of wonder. And with Josh Allen being a guy that tends to spread the ball around, at least that's like he's had to do that. So it's kind of the way he does it. It makes me wonder, you know, for fantasy, for the benefit of Buffalo. Remember they took that receiver from the Browns, who was good. You know, I know he was older. I'm sorry, I don't have his name in my head. Amari Cooper.
That's
And he did little to nothing over there.
Yep.
Curtis Samuel didn't do much. I knew that they wouldn't get a lot out of Keon. I never thought he had enough separation, but hopefully they're not getting a guy because, you know, I lived in Buffalo. I have a lot of friends that like the team. Hopefully they're getting a guy that, you know, still has a lot to prove, perhaps, might play a little chip on his shoulder, might really want to become that number one again. I do have some doubts just because of what I said. He kind of had the chance there, but it was also a developing team. They had a emerging tight end, a developing quarterback. So there's a lot of things that could play into it. But it would be cool to see him really assert himself as a number one, which is what Buffalo wants.
And I think he can do that in Buffalo, especially. I mean, he's got the right quarterback for that to be the case, right? I mean, I think Josh was looking for someone to be a number one receiver, and if this isn't DJ Moore's opportunity to do that, if he doesn't do it with Buffalo, he's not going to do it.
Right. Yeah, it's a great spot for him.
Yeah. So I was just a little surprised that the Bears would make that move again, only because I think that they have a developing quarterback who made big strides last year.
Right.
That one pass he had in the final? Was it in the playoffs or?
Yeah, I think the
last pass of the game, right? The regulation. I mean that's a gem.
Yeah.
Like that's a
Unreal.
dime. But I just thought that DJ Moore would be his go-to guy that would help him become and grow a better receiver. I mean, obviously, I think the same thing about Rome Odunze. I think Rome Odunze is a great player, in my opinion. I know he's a great college player, and like you said, he hasn't really shown that in the NFL just yet. He's showing flashes of it. He just hasn't put it together yet, and maybe this is his opportunity to really step up.
It might be a chance for them to kind of make him do just that. Plus, you know, it also like I think it was the last year of his contract. You know, in Moore. You know, last year they got everybody to really build up the confidence. You know, they built up the O-line. They had Tooney. They added more elements to it. They drafted a tight end. They drafted a good wide receiver. They had a Dunze the year before. It seemed like it was like whatever they could do to support Williams to get him his confidence. So it's a little bit surprising in that they'll just take more out of that equation because he's still developing. But at the same time, I could see it kind of being something to maybe push Odunze and Burden to step up a little bit. Perhaps they've seen enough in them and they think they can take that step. Colston Loveland also really stepped up last year, played well in the playoffs. So I don't think it's like dire for the Bears, but I do think that having another guy would help them. I think having all those options is a benefit for sure.
One thing I was thinking is that they could probably use a lot more two tight end sets with Kmet and Loveland. Like,
Yeah, for
sure.
sure.
They could, just maybe have two receivers out there that maybe don't need a slot receiver, and they go with like maybe a bigger package. Pause. So, yeah. So I really like this move for DJ Moore as a player specifically. Hopefully he thrives. Hopefully Josh gets him the ball exactly where he needs it. And he can turn into that Stephon Diggs type of player that Buffalo has clearly been missing.
Right.
I think that is, I mean, besides their defense not ever being the greatest, I think that the one big thing that Buffalo's always missing, just from being like a true championship team, is a number one stud wide receiver that they can rely on a regular basis. And they had it with Diggs. Speaking of Diggs, he just got cut.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that maybe the Bears would pick up somebody like him that would be a veteran to help out a young quarterback like Caleb Williams.
Take some pressure off of Shakir, because I think he would be much better as at least a number 2, or because.
Oh, you're saying
like in order to like if you had Diggs.
Well, Diggs is not going back to Buffalo.
That's where I thought you were going with
No,
that.
with I'm saying to Chicago.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah.
What do you think would be a good fit for Diggs?
For Chicago?
No, just anywhere. Where in the league do you think that he'd be a good fit? Like, I think my Jets would be a good fit.
Well, I know that he really was great in the slot last year. Like, he was one of the best in the NFL. So I think a team that could use like a big slot or a crafty slot. I think he's a little bit bigger. He's at least physical. He's not like a speed slot guy. He's not like Wandell or anything. Yeah. But a team that would benefit from that. I mean, honestly, I think the Giants are going to lose Wandell. I know it's like obviously the first team that comes to mind because it's my G-men. But he wouldn't be so bad there to just have another option. But I think from a personality standpoint, it might not fit.
I mean, and I think that's his one drawback. His big drawback is his personality and his all the extra off the field nonsense that he's dealing with. So, speaking of the NFL, one other topic I wanted to bring up before we get into our catchers is all of these quarterbacks that are being released, all of these starting caliber quarterbacks. I know a lot of these guys are either old or they haven't reached their true potential. But there are quite a lot of teams that are QB needy, that may be scraping the bottom of this barrel, kind of. But I feel like the names I wanted to mention was Kirk Cousins. Obviously, he's got the talent, but he's just up there in age. And when he came in up to play last year, he played okay.
Right.
Tua, who I think still has something left in him, but I think he just wired his welcome in Miami. Kyler Murray, in my opinion, that's the big name. Again, I'm a Jets fan, so I have a feeling that he is going to end up as a Jet. I thought it was going to be either him or Cousins.
Okay.
But the more and more I hear things, the more I see how the things are progressing in this offseason.
Are you excited about that or a little bit concerned?
I don't know, man. In all honesty, he's a former number 1 pick, so there has to be some potential there for him to, and he's still young. So I think that there's still some potential there for him to be a good player. I just don't know if the Jets are the right organization for somebody like him.
I mean, I've heard things in the past. I don't know if it's true, but didn't he have like some clause put into his contract and then removed about limiting his video game playing and stuff like that? Yep. So for me, it's not so much the fact that he played the games, but the fact that obviously it was impacting something that they saw, like whether he wasn't prepared in practice, whether he just they just felt like it was taken away from him, and he's a guy he's still got a big arm. He's still young. He's got wheels. He's a playmaker. Former number 1. More has been expected of him. So for something like that to kind of happen, I would be a little concerned, especially if my team was the Jets. They kind of have management type concerns and stuff like that, But I think with the right coach, I think he could really work out. If he ended up in Minnesota with Kevin O'Connell, who's like a quarterback guru, like a guy with some gravitas, where it's like where Murray will walk in the door knowing that he owes this guy respect. He's been there, he's done that, he's going to help me. I think that's where Kyler would really benefit.
So the Jets, they have Aaron Glenn as their coach, and he's obviously known more of a defensive coach, although last year you couldn't tell if he was a good defensive or offensive coach because the team sucked overall. But they did hire Frank Reich, as their OC
Nice.
for this year, and so I think that maybe
Yeah, I like
Frank
that.
Reich could be a guy
Yeah.
that could get some benefit out of him. The other rumors that I heard today were that the Jets are looking at Tua, and I hate that.
I don't like
hate
that.
that.
You know, like Tua, I think he paired well with the system. With Tua, he's kind of got a little bit of a weak arm, and he's short.
I mean, Kyler's short too.
But Kyler can move better, and whereas Tua, his advantage on the field is his anticipation. He can get the ball out quick, and he puts the ball in places even before the receiver has made his move. Perhaps it's because he throws so slow, he knows he's got time for it to get there. But that's what he was so good at. I feel like that kind of limits an overall offense. So I think he would be a consolation prize, perhaps. As like a serviceable to good quarterback, a guy who's done it before, like a system quarterback. I feel like he'd be a good backup in Denver. Some insurance there.
Think he'll take a backup job though?
I guess it depends. If all the starter jobs are taken, and
I mean, there's plenty of shitty teams that need quarterbacks still.
do you think? He's a little bit older too, right?
Yeah.
For
I don't
for
know,
me,
it's-
and I don't know if it's the case for all the coaches. Like when I think of Kyler, I think the star hasn't worn away yet.
Well, wait,
Like the
whoa.
shine hasn't worn off yet.
Hold on.
But I think Tua, I feel like the shine has worn off a bit.
What do you think that these guys' ages are? I mean, when you say like older, like how old do you think these guys are?
Is Tua about 30?
Is he that old?
I thought he was. I could be wrong.
I feel like he's
hate
only
to
been in
say
the league
that,
for like
but
6 years or so. No,
I thought he was kind of up there. I feel like he was injured for a bit.
I have to look it up.
Yeah. I mean, we should be more prepared for that.
Yeah,
I
whatever.
guess.
All right, so if I just
But
off the
from
top
a
of your
skill
head,
set, I feel like his strengths, like when he had the sufficient, sorry about that, when he was sufficient in arm strength, sufficient in, because he's short, he has to be able to create his pass on some level. I think when those skills wear away, when you get to a certain age, because the NFL is no joke, I feel like the limits that he has are a little bit more profound. Mm-hmm. So his age really matters sooner than I guess other spots.
all right, if I had to put you on the spot for these guys, just name the first team that comes to your head on where do you think these guys are going to go. So Kirk Cousins, where do you think he ends up? Just first team that comes into your head.
49ers.
Even with Mac Jones back there?
He's a backup there.
Yeah, he's not
Well,
going
my
anywhere.
thought was that they would want a good backup. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And he did pretty well, too. I would say I could see who's the backup for the Bears. I know we just talked about him.
Not Trubisky. I can't remember who's back there. Who's over there anymore?
I think it's that faster guy.
Is that Badgett guy?
Yeah. I'll just say Bears.
All right.
So that they're not – because they have expectations now. And
Yeah.
They don't want to be, caught,
Yeah.
without a quarterback if the worst thing were to happen and Caleb were to miss some time.
I would say Minnesota would be the team that I would say that he would maybe
go back there.
go back to,
Mm-hmm.
and give J.J. McCarthy some competition at the starting job.
Yeah.
All right, Tua, where do you think he goes?
I kind of like him in Denver, honestly, just because, like I said, I feel like perhaps GMs might feel the same way I do, perhaps not. I just think he does have a skill in anticipation. I think that could offer a lot to Bo Nix because of the system they run there.
I don't hate that pick. I would agree with you. If I had to think of a team, I would agree with you on that one.
Okay.
What about Kyler? Where do you think he ends up?
I kind of like him in Minnesota. I think he's going to seek out some sort of a QB guru type because I feel like now, I would think a guy like that does have a chance. As guys mature, we all grow up at different rates. I think he might realize that this is really time to really focus a bit. And Kevin O'Connell just comes to mind whenever I think of a guy that can really help a quarterback. I could see him go. Actually, I could see him going to Cleveland, adding some competition there.
That'd be interesting.
They tend to grab players that they think might work in that position.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I think Kyler goes to the Jets. That's the team that I see him going to. That's been the rumor all off season anyways. one wild card quarterback I'm going to throw out there, and then we'll get into catchers. But one wild card quarterback I'm going to throw out there is
Daniel Jones.
no, he's signed a franchise tag in Indianapolis.
Oh, did he?
So the rarely used franchise tag, the transition tag, tag, which I think that they were also the last team to use.
Really?
On I don't know, some other shitty quarterback.
I forget what the difference is with that.
I think that it's that teams can still make you an offer, and then you have the right to match it, but you don't lose like a draft pick.
Oh, okay.
I think that's the difference.
That's
as far
not
as
just
I read
a
up on it.
restricted free agent?
No, because in restricted free agency, well, I guess so. But I mean, I think
maybe without the draft
there's a
pick
compensation in there somewhere.
Okay.
Some compensatory pick or
Well, perhaps if we have
sort.
any viewers or anything like that.
Yeah, somebody in the NFLPA.
Yeah, allow us to know in the chat.
Deshaun Watson was going to be the guy I mentioned.
Okay.
The guy is clearly talented. He just has been injured, and obviously all his issues. But I mean, you think that there's a team out there that will still give that guy a chance? Not obviously at the huge contract that he got from the Browns, which is one of the most ridiculous contracts I've ever heard of. Fully guaranteed $230 million, and they got what, like 7 wins out of him,
right,
or something, in 4 or 5 seasons. But he will be out there.
He'll probably be cheap too, right? Like the Browns are paying him up the wazoo. But
so where do you think a guy like that would go? Where's he a cultural fit and a need there? Like, I think the Jets would be. I know I say the Jets because they have a clear hole at quarterback. And I know I mentioned that Kyler would be the guy there. And if it's not Kyler, in my opinion, then I think a guy like Deshaun Watson could make some sense. So what do you think?
Well, this team came into my mind early, and I didn't bother to keep thinking as you were talking. It just kind of made sense. I feel like the Chiefs would be a good spot for him, because he's not bigger than anybody there. He might have been bigger than Stefanski, bigger than the Browns offense in general. I think he could. I guess they have some problems there in KC too.
So you don't think
as Rice,
you don't think that he's starting quarterback worthy at this point? Then is what you're saying, basically.
I think he might have to prove that again, perhaps. A combination of time away. I mean, didn't he play and not do that well also?
Yeah, he didn't do well.
Right?
Very well.
So, I mean, I feel like he might have a little bit to prove. It's been a while since we saw him do well. I feel like the Chiefs are smart, and, I think some teams would be reluctant to bring him on because I think there's a little bit of baggage, a little bit of a project involved that takes away from the team on some level. But a team that's established like the Chiefs, I feel like they could offer him a lot, and he knows that. I feel like they could get him on the cheap, and I'm not sure who the backup is there. Who's the backup for the Chiefs?
Like Elvis Gerback.
Wow, that's funny.
I have no idea. I can't remember anymore.
So yeah, it just makes a little bit of sense to me on like a 1-year contract.
Yeah.
Get behind the man Mahomes. Learn from Andy Reid. Perhaps he gets a little bit of exposure at some point.
Yeah, he likes exposing himself, so that's good. That's cool.
Very good. Nice.
All right. Well, let's get into the our main topic for today, which is what you guys are all here to see, I guess. So we're going to talk about our catching position. That also sounds weird. We're going to talk about the 2026 catchers for Major League Baseball, our top 10. We're going to switch up our format from episode 1 and 2, where we did first and third base. We kind of went back and forth in episodes 1 and 2, between our number ones, and then you can compare number twos. Instead, what we're going to do is we're just going to go through our top 10s each, and then afterwards we'll discuss them. We're going to talk about them. We're going to think about them more in a fantasy aspect a little bit, in the fantasy baseball ideology. We can give some honorable mentions later on, but I really want to get into it. So let's start. I'll start with you. Let's go down your top 10. Start with number 10 and go down the list.
Okay. My first one is a person that you love, and it is Salvador Perez.
Oh, I love Sal.
Way down at 10. You want me to just keep going right up, right?
Yeah, keep going.
After that, I have Kyle Teal, who I love this year, by the way. I'll talk about him in a minute. I have Will Smith way down my list at number 8.
Okay, Will Smith at 8.
I think some people have him high. I feel like he's a guy that is in a lot of different spots for people this year. You know, because some are concerned with his at bats. You know, with Ohtani always in the DH. But I guess we'll see. Number 7 is a guy who did great last year, Goodman, for the Rockies. I mean, it's a deep spot this year. Kind of like this position. Number 6, big fan of this guy, Baldwin. I think it's Drake Baldwin, right?
From the Braves.
Number 5, Augustine Ramirez. Number 4, I have William Contreras. Number 3, Shea Langoliers. Number 2, my boy Ben Rice. For number 1, I'm going to go with Cal Raleigh.
All right, so that's a very good list. So I will tell you that my list is not the same. Obviously, my number 1 is going to be the same as yours because how can you not have Cal Raleigh at number 1? Obviously,
And you won a championship with him last year.
I did. I won a fantasy championship with him, and you asked me for him at some point. You asked me for a trade, which would have been a good trade. I can't remember who you offered me.
I think Trevor Rogers was in there as a package, like to try to give you pitching.
I think you tried to give me a starting pitcher, like a pretty damn good one, like a keeper worthy pitcher, and I said I need to ride out what Raleigh's doing here this year, and it worked.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll give you my top 10, and then we'll discuss some of these players here. All right, so my number 10 is Francisco Alvarez from the Mets. I think he's going to have a bigger season than a lot of people think if he stays healthy. My number 9 is Will Smith from the Dodgers. Number 8, Drake Baldwin from the Braves. 7 is Salvi Perez. 6, I have Hunter Goodman. 5, I have Ben Rice. 4, Augustine Ramirez. 3, Shane Langoliers. 2, William Contreras. And the dumper, Cal Raleigh at number 1.
What a great nickname.
So, yeah, it is. So the one name that you mentioned, Kyle Teal, he was your number 9, right?
Yeah.
I had him written down, but I had him as a very deep sleeper.
Right.
Only for the fact that I don't think that many people know about him just yet.
Right. And that's what I love about him. I feel like he's the best hitter on that team. I think he showed.
That's not really saying much.
Right. It isn't. I feel like he improved a lot last year as the year went on. I feel like there's more power to come. But his numbers just line up well, especially considering that was his rookie year. He played well in the minors. He was expected to do well. Wasn't he a main part of a trade? Was he the main part of the Crochet trade? I believe
his name feels like it was part of a big trade.
Yeah. And I feel like he was the main piece in the trade for Crochet. So that
makes
says
sense,
a lot.
Yeah.
I just think he's got a bright future. I feel like even though he's like a sleeper of mine, I honestly feel like that's where he ranks. So like he's like probably the main target, especially if I miss out on some of my early ones. Depending on how the board falls, I definitely don't want to miss out on him.
The name, he's the name on your list that was not on my list. And the name that I have on my list that wasn't on yours, we had everybody else the same.
Is a sleeper of mine, actually.
But mine was
he's way down the list.
Francisco Alvarez.
Right. I think he has a chance to put it all together.
He does. So the thing with him is, though, he gets injured so often because he plays so hard.
Right.
Like he runs, he takes the extra base. That's the Mets mentality that Carlos Mendoza tries to instill in a lot of the Mets players is take that extra base. Like be aggressive on the bases. It'll get us more runs. It'll just throw, anything can happen if a pitcher throws a wild pitch somewhere because of your aggressiveness on the bases. And so he tries to take the extra base quite a bit of times. But sometimes he like jams a finger and that puts him out, or he slides incorrectly, and he just needs to learn maybe how to slide better. He also gets hit quite frequently at bat.
Really?
The one major issue with him from a health perspective is that whenever he's a good framer, like a pitch framer, and that's not going to do that's not a fantasy aspect.
It gets him on the field though.
But what it does for him is he's a good framer, but what he does sometimes is he reaches out and he gets clipped by the backswing a lot, and he gets a lot of catcher's interference calls also. And because of those catcher interference calls, I think he gets a lot of bumps and nicks, and I think that really limits his fantasy value because he's not consistently on the field.
I mean, you don't want to like coach a special thing out of somebody, if that's what he's good at. But it does seem like that's something they could work with, not moving the glove forward so much, receiving it a little bit differently.
Yeah, I would hope. I would hope so because I think if he's in the lineup for say 125 games, including some DH spots here and there. I mean, that dude has 22 home run power.
So I was thinking when you gave me that number of at bats, as far not at bats but games.
Yeah.
And I thought about the number of at bats. It'd be in the 400s.
Yeah.
I could see him hitting 25. I mean, he's got prodigious power. If he's able to put it together.
When he gets a hold of one, I mean, they go a long way. I mean, he's got a great swing, just a very long swing, a long follow through. That it's just very aggressive. It's like watching Bartolo Colon hit. When his helmet used to fly off.
It's a funny comparison.
It really is. It's just he swung so hard every single time, but when you make contact on those swings, I mean, those balls they're like there's no doubt about it.
Right.
So those are the two guys that we had on not each other's list. Like I said, I had Teal down at like 14.
Well, the other guy is a sleeper for each of us. So we're both big Teal, both big Alvarez fans.
Yeah. All right. So the other one you had on your list, and we talked about him the other day in episode. Was that episode 1 on the first base list?
Yeah, I believe so. Well, I don't know who the player is yet.
Well, it's Ben Rice.
Oh yeah.
So you have him at number 2,
I love Ben Rice,
and I have him at number 5.
Right.
So you're thinking is your thinking that because he also has first base eligibility and he's going to DH that he's going to be in the lineup every day?
I just feel like he's on his way to stardom. I just feel like he's a guy that is just really just about to take off. I feel like we've only seen the beginning of it. I feel like he's got real legit power. I think he improved a lot in his just hitting in general. I feel like he's just a guy that's almost like a Sally Perez type. I feel like when Sally Perez started to get good, he kept getting better and better and better. Cal Raleigh's another guy. But he just seems like I just have a lot of confidence in him when I see him swing. Like Cal Raleigh, man, when he swings, just the way his lower half and his upper half work, I just feel like it looks like, okay, that's a ball that if he gets it, it's going to go out. When I see Ben Rice, it looks really good to me. It looks like he's confident up there. I like his at-bats. Yeah. And when you look at StatCast pages, I don't know anything specific, but I've seen his StatCast page, and it's all red. Like, he just looks, or it might be Baseball Savant, I'm not sure. But he's just got the right numbers going in all directions. He might not bat 280 or anything like that, but I feel like he has a hard hit rate. He's going to hit a lot of extra bases, and I think it's wheels up for him.
One thing that you mentioned here is that the catching position is significantly deeper than it was. And obviously, after Cal Raleigh, it's some of the other players like Langoliers and Contreras and Ramirez and Rice. Like, those guys are somewhat all interchangeable after number 1. There's such a drastic drop-off from number 1, but there's not really that drastic of a drop-off from, like, say, 2 to 7.
Okay.
I think a lot of those guys have they can put up good fantasy numbers. Maybe some of them have a little bit more power. Like you said, like Rice is going to be a power hitter. Contreras is going to put up some numbers. Langoliers. Even Salvador Perez, even though for you he's a little bit, he's your number 10, I believe. And he's my number 7. But I just think that between at least like maybe 2 and 6, a lot of those guys are interchangeable.
Right.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, for me, I feel like it's those top 4 that I feel.
Except for Cal.
I mean, I know I'm taking a big leap by putting Ben right up there, within that 4. But even if you took him out, with those 3, I think those top 3, mine's, if you take him out, I know he's mine too, they've proven it, They've had stretches where they haven't been great, as far as Langoliers has struggled at times. But if you look at the end season stats, I mean, he had a great year last year, did great the year before. Looks like he's also becoming a better overall hitter. Cal Raleigh probably will take a step back. I probably won't get many shares of any of those guys because of the state of the position being as deep as it is. I believe a lot in Drake Baldwin, Kyle Teal. I like those guys a lot. I would be happy with Ramirez and some others. There's a guy that's been on towards the top of the list for years who wasn't on either of our lists, and Adley Rutschman, whether that's the presence of Basalo or just his recent struggles.
So actually, I have Basalo as one of my, or Basayo, however you say his name, whatever it is. I have him as one of my honorable mentions because
Okay.
I think he's going to get significantly more playing time, and I think Rutschman's going to get. Obviously, he's still a really good player, but he's not in that prospect status anymore, and I just don't see him being as like. I'm not sure if we maybe like he's already topped out a little bit, and but he will get some DH,
Right.
some DH at bats. So it's not like his bat is going to be out of the lineup. But I do think that because of that, Basalo is going to have a significant role on that team, and that's why I put him at my number 12. So in my honorable mentions, but I
say-
do like him a lot over more than I like Rutschman.
I really didn't know what to do with that spot, as far as who the Orioles are going to have at catcher, just because I feel like if somebody isn't working out, they'll move him back down. I feel like, and let's say Rutschman, who I think is probably getting paid, I feel like he had a contract fairly recently,
I think he did.
and then he began to suck. But if he does good at all, if he shows any glimmer, then I think they might end up keeping him in there. And if Basayo just struggles a little bit, I think they might be willing to move him down. So I think that sort of push and pull from that aspect might just kind of muddies the waters a little bit, makes me stay away from that. But I am very interested in Basayo, especially like if he does go down, looking for him to come back up, or if he's just not getting enough playing time, he's hanging out on the waiver wire, just kind of look for trends in his playing time or his abilities to see if they're about ready to give him more playing time. So it's definitely a backstop that I'm going to watch, but I'm going to kind of avoid to see how it plays out.
And he's that's a good point from a fantasy perspective. I'm not sure if he's necessarily going to get drafted in
Right.
a lot of leagues, only for the fact that there's uncertainty at the position for the Orioles. The one thing I can see, and I wonder if this is what may happen in Baltimore specifically, not from a fantasy perspective, but with the actual Orioles, is maybe they showcase Rutschman towards the beginning of the season for the first couple
There
of
you go.
months, and then to try to get some of the money from his contract off the books.
It's another good point. to
Maybe they
support
would
that.
trade him, and then Basalo would become a really, really good, or even a great fantasy pickup mid-season, or maybe sometime in like mid to late June when the trade rumors start kind of kicking up a little bit, and Rutschman's
Definitely.
name comes into the focus. If he gets dealt, especially like you said, he signed a longer term deal, and maybe if they don't see him as part of the future and they see Basalo being that guy, then why not trade him for at least maybe a middle reliever,
Yeah.
or a low end starter or something. I mean, I think Baltimore can always use pitching.
Right.
So even if you throw him into a deal and eat some of his money, and you can get maybe a number 5 starter out of it, a decent 5 starter.
Yeah.
You know.
That's a great point. I mean, all the more reason to be weary of Basayo at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
But to keep your eye on that situation.
If that
for
if
sure.
that happens, I wonder if Basalo is the type of guy that could make a huge difference for a fantasy baseball team later on down in like the playoff stretch, in the playoff run.
I would say it's definitely within the realm of possible outcomes. I mean, he's got prodigious power. He's a high prospect. I think for sure. I feel like the hype, there's a good chance that it's real on him.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely think they like him for sure.
Yeah. All right. So who do you, out of the list that we have, who do you think is the guy that could possibly fall off the biggest? Like out of all of your top 10 players, who's the biggest like possibility for a disappointing season?
Honestly, I don't really have. I mean, I kind of like this player. I mean, I would draft him, but I do have concerns. I feel more uneasy about Goodman just because of protection in the lineup, a struggling franchise, him feeling like maybe there's like they're counting on me type guy. I feel like he's a good player, but something about Colorado. I know he benefits from being in Colorado, but perhaps the difference in their stadium versus going away. They're going to be, the Giants are pretty good. Padres are better. The Dodgers are way better. They all have good pitching. I feel like that might be a spot that might fall down a little bit. Apart from that, I'm a little bit uneasy about Augustine Ramirez too. I'm less, as far as other guys in that range, I'm less uneasy about Drake Baldwin. I just feel like his profile overall makes me feel more comfortable. The K to walk rate, I feel like he contributed in multiple areas. But yeah, I guess I'll go with Goodman with that one.
Well,
Because he's high on a lot of lists.
the guy I was thinking was Drake Baldwin.
That makes for great podcast.
I thought that he has the biggest chance for a drop off. I know he's in a good lineup in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
There's another catcher there too, actually.
right. So I don't know what it is about him, and it's not because I'm a Mets fan and not because I hate the Braves.
Mm-hmm.
It's truly because I think he's a little bit of a flash in the pan. Like I don't think he's as consistent as what we think that he's going to be. And listen, I had him at my number 8, so I do think that he has fantasy value.
Right.
I mean, last year wasn't really a fluke. You know, there's going to be some skill there, but I just don't see him maybe even replicating what he did last season.
Right.
So I see him maybe dropping. Like I have him at 8. I can see him dropping out of the top of the top 10 fantasy catchers overall. You know, players that are eligible, and you know, to be completely honest, if I were to be drafting, which I will be in a couple of weeks in 2 leagues, but if it came down to it, and I'm like desperate for a catcher, like in the later rounds, and I haven't prioritized catcher, although in one of the leagues I'm going to keep Cal,
Right.
but in the other league, if I haven't prioritized catcher, I don't know if I would necessarily look at him. I know I have him at number 8, but there's something about his game where I would even pick maybe like an Ivan Herrera over him.
Is he eligible at catcher?
Yeah, he is.
He must be at utility in our leagues right now or something.
Oh, really? He hasn't gained the
Perhaps.
eligibility yet?
No, I mean, maybe this is good pod, but I actually love that player.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, let me throw him in this list real quick. I would have him way up at 5. I would have him above Augustine Ramirez.
Yeah.
And that's only because of the respect you have to give to King William. You have to give to Shane Langoliers. You know how I feel about Ben Rice, and then there's Cal.
Did you call King William?
Yeah, I just think he's.
Wait, is that his nickname? Is that like an official nickname?
I think I've heard it before.
You're talking about Contreras.
Yeah,
His nickname is King William?
I don't know. Maybe I've heard it once before,
That's interesting.
but
I've
it
never
might
heard
have
that
just
one.
been that person going off the cuff.
We just made up a new nickname for him if it's not.
We might have. I don't know.
All right.
But
Trendsetters.
I mean, I actually love that player.
Yeah.
I love that player. He's a target. I think he must not be eligible. I don't want to say the site. Perhaps it's not appropriate, but he might not be. Maybe he's catcher in other spots, but he's definitely a guy. So I guess Diaz is pushed right off of my list. No, I guess
Yeah, I had
Perez is pushed off my list.
Yeah.
And I'll throw him up at 5. You know, to be honest, I love him.
I also had Yanir Diaz originally at my number 10, and then I thought about it was between him and Francisco Alvarez, and I do like Diaz. I think he's good in Houston. I just like Francisco Alvarez's potential
For sure.
this year more.
Diaz, I think, has might suck potential. There's a couple guys since we're in the area. I don't mind Moreno, and I don't mind Kirk for the Blue Jays. I mean, they're serviceable. I don't think you're losing a lot. You know, it's good K to walk, decent power, good lineups. You know, just throwing a couple names that I think are decent.
Those guys, I looked at them also on my list, and I just
I'm not
liked all
happy
these
with
other guys better. I actually didn't
too.
even put them as my honorable mentions. If I had to pick Alejandro Kirk, I probably would have put him at like 15th in my power rankings. You know, I always feel like catcher in fantasy baseball is like picking a kicker or a defense in fantasy football.
I often wait.
If there's a stud out there, like the 2000 Baltimore Ravens defense out there, like, yeah, you're going to take them. And that's what Cal Raleigh is.
Right.
You know, he's like a unicorn at the catcher position because you never, I mean, besides like a guy like maybe Mike Piazza or somebody that's just so has such great offensive numbers. You know, like, I mean, Piazza was hitting like 320 with like 40 home runs and 130 RBIs. Like, you don't get those numbers from the catching position ever. From guys that are, especially from guys like Raleigh, who is strictly really a catcher. I mean, I know he DHs, you know, a decent amount, but I mean, the number of games that he broke the all-time home run record for home runs hit while playing catcher in the same game also.
Yeah, that's
so it's not
awesome.
like he just had a 60 home run season
Right.
and he played like 20 games at catcher. He played like a really healthy amount.
Well, one thing to look out for is at bats. A lot of times that can really be a big difference. Last year, I really liked Wilson Contreras because of the at bats he was going to get. There's other players. I think Raleigh obviously gets a lot of at bats. Sal Perez, year after year, was getting a lot of at bats, and that's an advantage over the rest of the pool because of the playing time differences at that position in general.
The other thing I was going to mention is I know you had Salvi at your 10, and you said that if you had Ivan Herrera, you probably drop him out of your top 10.
Yeah.
Perez is one other guy that I'm getting a little concerned about. I mean, some of his numbers from last year were off a little bit. They weren't the same as we're used to. But he's also like 37 or 36 or 37 or somewhere in that range. At some point, his numbers aren't going to translate anymore.
Right. Yeah. And so I mean, that's why I like the young fellas. I feel like there's just a better opportunity for them to take it up a level and surprise you, whereas there might be some regression coming out of the old guys. You really don't know exactly when that's going to happen, so you don't want to just cut bait too quick. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But yeah, I mean, he's getting up there. Can't do it forever. All those at bats, it's something to be concerned about.
Yeah, there's also some of those lower level guys that I kind of always see on the waiver wire. Even last year, even coming up like what's his name, the kid from the Pirates.
Henry Davis.
Henry Davis.
Yeah.
I want to call him Hunter Davis for some reason. Henry Davis.
He's a guy with some previous hype. Logan O'Hoppe is another
Logan
name
O'Hoppe.
to watch.
Yep.
Once you get going.
Your boy, Tim's neighbor, Patrick
Bailey.
Bailey.
I don't really like his offensive game.
He's more of a defensive guy, and he's
Yeah.
more of a pitch framer,
Right.
and just a good defensive guy. I don't know, how does he fit into the Giants lineup for you think?
I mean, I love him at defense. I love that he's our boy Tim's neighbor. That was a nice surprise when we found that out. Kind of crazy, but honestly, as a Giants fan, I would kind of wish that they would find a guy that can catch and hit. I feel like Giants need hitters. We need to move the train along. I think it hurts to have a guy that doesn't ever really get a hit. I mean, he really struggled. He had some spots where he was good, but this day and age in baseball, I don't think you can afford to just sacrifice a bat in the lineup. I feel like it's just that important, to have everybody have some ability to contribute on offense.
Yeah. Have you brought up the point to Tim specifically that maybe you can give him one of like your Giants flags to hang outside of his house? And when Patrick Bailey drives by, you can be like, "Oh shit, that like this dude is a Giants fan. That's crazy. Let me go introduce myself."
No, I actually did not think of that.
I think maybe you should.
I did say something about, can we put like a baseball in his mailbox and just be like the shy neighbor or something? I was wanting Tim to
That's a little cringe.
see him at mowing the lawn or something over there, and like
You're like, "Oh shit,
create
are you
some
Patrick
sort
Bailey?"
of yeah. But I think Tim told us that he was playing it off, like he didn't know him type thing. When I think they did meet at some point.
Put a flag outside of Tim's house. I don't care if he's a Red Sox fan or not. Tim, make this happen. Okay, I'm talking directly to you.
Is he still over there? His neighbor?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean he might have moved on. I mean that was his, just became an MLB player home.
Has he signed an extension or anything?
I don't know.
So he's still making like
Maybe.
the league minimum.
Yeah.
I think he's probably still living in over there.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Well, Tim, borrow a flag from Randy, a Giants flag, and hang it outside your house. I don't care if you're a Red Sox fan or not. Just hang it outside your house. Let him come to you. You don't have to be the weirdo that puts a baseball in his mailbox or see him mowing his lawn and be like, wait, I think I've seen you play baseball on MLB.TV before. No, we don't need all that. Just hang the flag. See if let him come to you.
Our boy Tim, by the way, looks so much like an ex-Giant, Hunter Pence.
Yep, that's
Thought I
Hunter
might
Pence.
bring that up.
Tim basically looks like a mix between Brandon Nimmo and Hunter Pence.
That's funny.
He also runs like him. Like he's built like him. When we used to play, I think we played some sports
He's
together.
a sneaky athlete.
He's like a springy dude.
Yeah.
He's tall.
Not
just
awkward
like
like Hunter Pence was, but
yeah. Well, Hunter Pence was paid to be awkward also.
Yeah.
So Tim, make that happen. All right. Well, that's our rankings.
Okay.
So those are our top 10 picks for catchers. I hope that helps. A lot
Well,
of you guys.
did you give us a bust?
Did I give?
Who
Oh,
was
Drake
your
Baldwin
bust?
was my bust, and
Okay.
then possibly Salvador Perez, maybe
Okay.
Salvador Perez.
Okay, I got you.
So, everybody else, I think that they're interchangeable. The only, actually, you know what? Before we go, one other question: is there one player on your list that you think can really move up higher than you already have him now? And not by just one slot, but I mean a significant upgrade.
I want to say Teal. I feel like he's got a lot of room to move. But really, I think guys that are way down the ranks, I think Alvarez has a great chance to just become like way up there, like one of the better hitters, like early in drafts next year type guy. Because he doesn't even have to have, he's going to have a great lineup. He could have good county stats if he moves up at all in that lineup. That lineup is anywhere in that lineup. If he gets the playing time, if he finds a swing, he could bat 250 or less, and just show improved plate discipline and just pound the hell out of the ball.
Yeah.
Get some good county stats and really move up. Some other guys, I think Ohapi has a chance. You know, he used to, like last year and the year before, he's the guy that we would look out for as like a dark horse type guy. You know, sometimes it takes a little bit for players to put things together. Neto over there on the same team has put things together slowly, become a better player overall. I think Ohapi's taking steps back and forward and back, but I think he has a chance to be better. One other guy that I think is interesting is Carter Jensen of the Blue Jays. So because I think he's got general potential as a hitter, and he's like nowhere, he could move way up. So I guess those would be the better examples for me.
So I think if I'm not looking at anybody on my top 10 list to move up, and maybe somebody on my sleeper that I mentioned, Kyle Teal, obviously you mentioned him too. I think that he has a potential to be one of those guys that's not in my top 10 to move into a significant spot in the top 10. Somebody that I would pick that is in my top 10 that I think could move up in the list. This isn't really like a name that you would think would have to move up because he's been in the league for a long time. He's proven exactly what he is. But Will Smith is in the middle of a great lineup. Obviously, he bats cleanup basically for one of the best offenses that we've seen in a long, long time. I mean, sometimes he hits cleanup, sometimes he hits a little further down the lineup. Sometimes, like Dave Roberts uses him very well throughout the lineup and moves him around based on matchups and things. But with the addition of Kyle Tucker in there, there's another guy to be on base for him to maybe drive in more runs and just be on base to give him more protection in the lineup. So I think that Will Smith, as good as he's one of the most steady fantasy catchers that you can have. So you know exactly what you're gonna get out of him year in and year out.
Right.
But I think that there's a possible potential for him to just move up just a tiny bit not a tiny bit. I mean, I think he can make a jump enough because of the lineup that he's in, where he can pass a lot of these guys, like you said, like Hunter Goodman, Salvi Perez, Drake Baldwin, even Ramirez specifically.
Yeah,
you know, he
I
can
like
move
it.
up into like that top 4 or 5 for me instead of being at number 9. So I think he's got a chance to move significantly.
That's a good one. The only thing that scares me about him is his at-bats. But I think a couple years ago, Ohtani was there, didn't hit any DH there. He was able to find his at-bats. You know, so that's a good choice there.
Yeah. All right. Well,
all right, man.
That's about it.
Cool.
All right, guys. If you guys think that if you guys want to debate any of our picks here, if you guys think there's a pick that you like or that you don't like, let us know. Hit us up in the comments on the YouTube page. We'll be up on Spotify also under J&R Sports Lounge, obviously. So just search that on Spotify. You could go to J&R Sports Lounge also on YouTube. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think of our picks. If you disagree, tell us. If you agree, tell us. If you think that we suck as people that pick our top 10s, let us know that too. I don't care what you tell us. We'll take it. We'll take it. We'll come back to you. We'll talk shit about you afterwards. But we'll take any comments and see if you agree with us. All right. Well, I guess that wraps up episode 3. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Have a great afternoon. Why did I say have a great afternoon?